If you're just joining us, you missed an intense game on Nuke. It was a game that took several overtimes to complete, but it was G2 defending their home turf on Nuke, a map that they've proven time and time again that they are dominant on. As they take it from Gambit, they move on into Train. Gambit's map pick. And it's 1-0 for G2. Joining me, of course, Launders. What do you come out of with that game?
I don't know. My head is a mess. I just saw some of the craziest highlight reels from so many different players, and I don't know what to make of it. I mean, I feel bad for Gambit. I feel happy for G2. I think the series isn't any more one-sided than it was before the map started. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, I mean, I think coming into Train, the biggest concern was it felt like Gambit wasn't picking their strengths, which kind of made you wonder a bit, because obviously Overpass and Cobble are at the top of their map pool and offline results, yet they decided to go the Train. You almost wonder if they thought too heavily about the big upset loss that G2 took against Liquid, where they got smashed on this map, if that's what factored in, because, I mean, this is not a bad map for Gambit, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not the first map that comes to mind when you think about Gambit.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, for G2, while they did struggle against Liquid yesterday, online they've been, pretty good on Train. So it's definitely one of those situations where I don't know how much of an edge Gambit really gained by picking this map.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like it's a map that they've just adopted, and sometimes teams will pick a map in a tournament and it'll be something kind of out of left field, and you'll be like, we know what map you're best at. Why aren't you playing that map? And I think when you're in the server and you're with your team, you just have like a different feeling about, well, this worked yesterday, this worked very recently. We're feeling really good about this. And I don't think that necessarily alludes to them feeling like they're going to get lucky on the map in particular, but I think they feel like they've gotten a certain rhythm that they can't necessarily quantify or explain, that they want to press that, and on a team like Gambit that is kind of building the map pool up and has a lot of things going for it, but still has a lot of stuff up in the air and things to find out about their teammates. I think it all starts with playing maps that maybe they feel like they're becoming confident on in tournament and putting that to the real test. And I believe they can be strongly competitive on this map, but it all starts right here on this pistol. Passive setup from G2 as everyone comes barreling down the ramp from the terrorist. Apex finding a nice headshot, a couple to boot. Body as well, getting one, and I don't know if a bomb can get planted here. It's going to be one player pushing up the back, and Mo doesn't have a good position to get the bomb.
Yeah, he has to try to grab it and see if he can bring it back to the site. There's so many CTs in the area. There's just no way he's getting away with this, as G2 are going to stuff them, as, again, they had that one map advantage. They'd love to close it out in two. I think the third map is Cobblestone if we need it, just to put that one out there, just in case people were wondering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes I personally really like, in that situation, so this is the strategy. I think that'll work really well if you want to do a lower ramp take. They didn't want to wait for a smoke because the smoke actually takes a few bounces and therefore a few seconds to telegraph for the CTs to come and rotate in. So they actually want to avoid that whole situation that could happen and decided to barrel down altogether without any cover. And they did end up getting killed because of it, but I'm sure they did it because it's worked in the past, and I think a lot of it is up to whether or not someone hits a sick headshot or not. But getting the bomb down was priority number one, and maybe their only one. They couldn't do that, and they'll try again here, but also with the support of a lot of armor and strong pistols.
Right, yeah, you're just seeing Gambit poking and prodding with these deagles and a couple of Tech-9s just to try to see if they can find any headway in, as we do have Apex fighting up close with Dozia here over towards Ivy. In the meantime, Adren actually pops off a deagle, takes down NBK, so this is an opening that Gambit was looking for, but Shox is very quick to respond and kind of hold them off from making any more progress into this outer bomb site for now.
Really do hate to see the Falma spy here. Tech-9's far superior to that weapon from the CTs. And Hobbit, the opportunity to get a kill, actually does finally get it. And I mean, just knocking down that equipment value is a win enough. Also, avoiding those bullets is a pretty big deal, down to 10 HP, but the body is still there. And so his presence now being removed has resulted in G2 being able to push up. But Doja, whoa, in a very powerful position. However, the bomb planted default means this two players upper have to stay alive.
That is definitely the case. Kinias chasing after, does take down Adren, looking for the other who's been able to kind of maneuver around. It's going to be Mo with his Tech-9. He has been spotted, though, now, and Dozia still has a chance to flank in with the UMP. He's going to find, in fact, the kill on the Shox, and he finishes the job. So there you have it. Gambit take around maybe a little bit earlier than G2 was hoping for.
There it is, the classic tactic where you just have an inner hit, but then you have a lurk either come out of Ladder or Ivy. And Ivy seemed to be the pick of Doja there as he just walked in very carefully so as not to alert any CTs and had the impact of being able, and the honor of being able to kill the last person trying to defuse. Now 1-1, Gambit have AKs on their hands, and G2, because the round was kind of close, have decided to buy up in response.
And again, this might see one of those scrappy starts, and if it continues to play out like this, unless Gambit can secure a couple in a row and try to hold G2 off, as we are going to see Gambit going for perhaps some type of inter-execute. You see a lot of them gathering up here inside the brown halls. 2 coming out of upper now, a couple lower as well. So Body has so much to worry about up close, and Zeus has no trouble stamping him out. Mo chiming in as well. Kenny S does find a kill, but that's pretty much all G2 are going to get out of this round, it seems. As Hobbit are cleaning things up, and that bomb is going to get planted here any moment. In fact, not even going to need the bomb plant. Hobbit will just kill everyone. So there you have it, Gambit 2-1.
Yeah, sometimes good to try to plan. It's not something that anyone thinks about because obviously if you have the opportunity to kill the last player alive, you always go for it. But to put the bomb down and get that extra $800 across all 5 of your teammates can be really nice. Now they will have another round to farm up, get another bomb plant, make sure that nobody dies, and on the G2 side are buying absolutely nothing. So flash outside as a quick execute comes out. Not wasting any time here. Kenny is taking pot shots with a deagle from the back of bomb, and Hobbit spotted a couple players now. 3 within vision. Adren takes care of one of them. Zeus another, and there it is. Ooh, clean one tap from Hobbit, who was quite quiet on Nuke actually.
Absolutely.
A player who yesterday was on fire. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's one of the big 3 for Gambit when it comes to their firepower. You know, typically Adren and Mo definitely are standouts, especially Adren, right? But Hobbit's like that young guy that has been on loan for a while from Gambit, apparently. You know, they brought him in last year. He was the MVP of DreamHack Winter, just to kind of, you know, throw back to a previous DreamHack event. They actually won that event, and he was, you know, definitely a standout. So definitely always a name to keep an eye on here, as we do have a full buyout from G2 for the most part, except for Shox, who's going to be limited to a max 7, so maybe a bit of a handicap. As we see Gambit just opening default, and again, this is another one of those maps where you're going to notice the differences in style. Gambit usually more passive default. You know, Dozier loves to work his Ivy, Hobbit loves to work his inner halls, and they just kind of play off of that, but they do have some cool inner executes we may see later.
Yeah, this is a very tight angle from Shox. A flat angle, but favoring the mag 7, but Hobbit doesn't give him more than a shoulder and is able to, while he's on cycle, peek out and finish him off. So now that is a fair bit of information that they have. Also, the 5v4 allows the Ts to perform the conclave. Doja, Ivy control all by himself and his Famus. One player all the way back, I think, so as to not eat a flash and be able to support him. Hobbit finding a second kill. Actually poking farther into inner, and Doja making this play through the smoke, but it's Apex to come around through it as well and shoot him in the back.
Yeah, well played by Apex, try to keep G2 in this round because it was starting to look really favorable for Gambit, but at least now with that frag, G2 have slowed them down a bit as that bomb is just slowly making its way through brown halls. He tried to get inner control, that was Hobbit, but MBK silences him. Adren, though, is starting to get some control of outer, so that bomb may shift once more to this side of the map instead, thanks to the work of Adren. Apex, though, still alive, and Ivy swinging through, able to find 2 kills. Well done, Apex. Bomb's gonna get planted here by Zeus in a 1v2, spotting out Z, gets that kill now, 1v1 against Apex. Apex already has several kills in this round. Can he get the final one? Yes, he can. And so Apex, he's gonna put that M4 to use. He's gonna be able to get that op carried over to the next round, and he gets a quad kill round to take this away from Gambit.
Wow, I think Zeus just attempted to, or assumed that Apex was quite low and wanted to follow up on that frag, swung out super wide, and you know, Zeus does that quite often, but the trigger control and or recoil control, I should say, from Apex was a little bit too good, and that's why they hired this man for the aim. Dedicated entry fragger of G2, though there are many players on this team that are versatile in that they can do more than that.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, when Mo has an op, like I said, they like to try to play spread out and just try to see if he can find a pick through T-Con, or they move him Ivy. You know, they move him all across the map, you know, try to hope that he can be dynamic and keep the TTs guessing where he might be peeking from. As we have the double op set up from G2, no surprise there. Quite a favorite of theirs on both sides of the map, actually. Ooh, talked about that a couple of times, but nice kill there from Zeus to get body down.
Yeah, almost a careless dry peek, and he was very lucky that Shock simply missed the flick. And then, beyond that, is also able to kill body when it's clear that G2 had the superior setup, but you know, that's when we were reminded that we are playing a point-and-click adventure, and hitting shots does matter.
So with body off the board, it is an advantage here for Gambit. 5-on-4s, we do see them, again, just kind of in a holding pattern, maybe looking to line up some smokes here soon into the outer bomb site. So maybe just kind of one of those typical outer splits where you have, you know, players coming from ladder and T kind of at the same time. You're smoke walling the bomb train, you're trying to work your way in. Definitely one of the many possibilities. It could also be a fake, could transition to an inner hit. You never know. They still have a little bit of utility left over after all this.
Yeah, no. At the bottom of the ladder, MBK with the wild spray actually gets a second dink on a player falling. That's more impact than he needed to have in that situation, especially if Apex is able to lock down this frag. Does a bit of damage, but Hobbit trades before it's too late. KennyS up in heaven in a very strong position, but has to watch a couple of angles. Anyone pushing Hell will be able to kill him. Finds a player off the top of the train and doesn't get too distracted by the player planting. Doja has now put his teammate in a 1v1. Hobbit coming around the train and Shocks. Just seeing a pixel of his shoulder. Just barely making out the outline of his sleeve. Hitting one of the sickest flicks that we've seen so far.
Shock's just demonstrating to a couple of the different things he can do, be clutch and use an op. Among pretty much everything in the game that's possible, Shock's is capable of. And this is a great play from him to start closing that gap. We're now actually tied up at 3-all. And again, G2 did get that first map, so they're looking for the 2 opportunity. Gambit looking to try to win their pick, force that third on Cobble, which I think is, you know, fairly common ground for both these teams. But obviously Gambit has a huge history on it. At times been called, you know, one of the best cobblestone teams in the world, if not the best. So definitely something to think about. Yeah,
it would be really cool to see them get challenged on that map, especially in their current form versus one of their strongest opponents who have to prove a lot themselves as well. Smokes go down outside. Nades cascading over the outer site. Adren actually takes out the entry fragger of G2, playing from Sandwich, and now KennyS left in the same spot, has a similar job on his hands.
As we are seeing Gambit try to make their way through the outer bomb site here, Doja has taken the advantage for Gambit as they work every single lane outside, essentially. Body, though, still inside the site, doing massive work right now. What a play from him.
What?
The exclamation point is dotted by Shocks, but Body did the bulk of that.
Jeez. This is their 5th. I mean, Body is their 5th. Body's the only player on this team that is in any way could any way be regarded as new. Look at this aim. It's readjusting immediately into that headshot.
It's good to see him playing well in this tournament because there was definitely a lot of questions about him whenever this team got put together. Was that really the 5th that you wanted for this French dream team? And his team had a lot of faith in him, and he's done well in this event. And look at Shots looking to get aggressive at Ivy, but it's traded back pretty evenly by Gambit, though they are now well behind thanks to these last couple of frags from Apex and KennyS. It leaves Zeus alone in a 1 versus 3 with the Tech-9. He knows where one player is. He's trying to hunt him down, but you don't hunt down a KennyS who's looking for you.
Oh, that's great. From one side of Ivy to the other. After taking that dink, I'm sure it was called from Gambit. You know, go up and follow this frag because this man at Ivy has an op for you. And KennyS, fully aware of the potential for that threat, turns around and takes him down. Not actually knowing that a save is coming up. They've got 2 UMPs in their hands, and there are options here. The UMPs are very good at ladder. For example, we saw Shocks find a way to initiate a close engagement at Ivy, and already a trade has occurred.
Yep.
Unclear exactly where that went down, but that has...
Look, a Shock sliding in behind him in ladder room. He could get behind them in a big way as long as KennyS keeps holding with this AWP, which he's definitely capable of as he and Apex tag up for a couple of kills. And here does come that maneuver from Shocks we were talking about. It's kind of being watched, but he still gets out of that smoke. Now he's just holding from the other side, and Gambit bypass him to actually get the bomb into the inner bomb side. That's actually insane that this works out that way. As Gambit will definitely get in here, but Shocks can just flank them right back through Brown Halls. Not going to be the case, though. He's actually working a different angle. And Adren working up close, gets KennyS down. Now it's a 2v2.
Very good on him to make that play. Gets a little bit aggressive, however, in Body, just with a bit of patience. Was able to lock that kill down. Doja is about to flank him though as well. And he could go and get some more info, which it looks like he wants to do. Behind both CTs at this moment. And the bomb planted. Left side train, is that right? Yes, in good position for Doja to really make this easy. Has done a great job of delaying. Excellent flash to go over. But he's not quite on the bomb yet. The man's been tagged. He's to the left. And will he get it? He doesn't have enough bullets to make that kill happen. The defuse comes out.
Just when you thought, Gambit, we're finally going to put one on the board, that happens, and it doesn't get more tense than that. You're crouching up and down the smoke. Bullets are coming through. You're taking all this damage, but yet he still gets off the defuse, and that's very fortunate for him. Great work here from G2. And then that one came down to maybe a little bit of luck involved, if we're fair, but looked like Dozy was playing it to a T, but just didn't quite land those shots fast enough. And so now G2, they have a great economy. They have the double op in play. But this is a full buy from Gambit. Again, opening default, giving space for Mo to work his op and see what he can find. But this aggression in the inner halls has definitely been an issue that Gambit has not really found a solution for.
Yeah, indeed. A little bit of info gathered as the spot comes out upper. Doesn't tell you a whole lot. Again, the goal on CT side is, yeah, you want to get somewhat aggressive so that Ts can't just hold on to all of their utility. But then you also don't want to die, so it is constantly playing that balancing game. Kenny's very important pick on Doja, as he might have been a late threat at Ivy. And Body, wow, needs a bullet to the face.
But look at Shocks with that op. He's going to be able to take down a Jordan to get the man advantage right back for G2, as Gambit seem to be making a lot of progress, but just can't quite close rounds. And now MBK sweeping through the behind is able to get 2 shots with the op still going to work. And now it's going to be all on Mo and his AWP in a 1 versus 3. The double op still in play from Kenny's and Shocks. Apex with the M4. They're just diffusing, and there's not much he can really do about it.
Yeah. It was a good enough grenade, but not even a Molotov could have saved him there, and peeking out into that angle would have been completely unsafe in that 1v3. So hanging on to the op. Best play in that situation. Gambit are going to take a timeout called by Doja with only 3 rounds to their name and op in hand. And it is going to be a rifle round, but they just want to talk about
how they're
going to follow it up.
I mean, the thing is they've been working their default quite a lot, which, again, we talked about this time and time again. Don't want to beat a dead horse, essentially, but we know that they like to display slower and more methodical. It's just a trademark of Zeus as a leader. It is true that Gambit, though, on this map do have some really nifty, complex inter-executes. I really love to see them. You know, they have, like, triple or quadruple pushes out upper with, like, really good utility that kind of mask what they're doing and lets them kind of just explode out and really catch people off guard. The biggest problem with that is that that's the play you really want to go to. You haven't really been able to get control of Brown Halls. Or when you do, you get flanked so fast that you're not really able to set up the utility that you want to maybe run that type of exec. So it's like you have to kind of take that first step first of getting control before you can actually start, you know, turning to that page in your playbook perhaps. But the timeout's already over, and we'll see what they've cooked up.
Totally see that. I find inner very favorable, especially when you aren't at the very least getting bomb plants. One of the easiest spots to do that at. Just very hard to hold in the retake, and multiple ways to approach it. Body has gotten punished in this situation before. His shoulder peaks have gotten tighter since, and will not be a victim to a rush this time around. Shox has rotated inner to support him. He's taking a somewhat passive angle on upper in case people try to go out. Good, he grenade should do a fair bit of, actually does absolutely none, but now Body over the top of the train has the opportunity to get a frag, does find Mo, and a player trying to find him and trade. Super aware of that opportunity. 2 up now, both in awful spots. Zeus making the best of a worse situation. Actually getting a second kill, looking for the third in the spray, but can't do it. Kenny's and BK combine and forces to take them both down.
Yeah, so it was an attempt at an inter-execute, but it just crumbles. A great retake there from G2, not really giving Gambit much at all, to be honest. I mean, there was a couple of frags there, but it just wasn't enough to matter. I
think just as you alluded to, they need to have some more depth to their executes. Like, even if they're doing something off the cuff, like having a ladder flank, like Doja coming out ladder, or Ivy, excuse me, in the late round to secure the win. Them coming down lower ramp is great and all, but getting the plant by itself isn't going to win you the round. And here it is. Body's actually playing closer up this time, and Shox
2 for 1.
A nice collateral as Body with the great tracking and USP headshot takes the face off Mo, puts one more in the body and puts him on the ground. Yeah, so now it's just a drill with the Tech 9 in a 1 versus 5. Bomb down. No way he's reclaiming that.
the best he can hope for is maybe try to do some type of damage. But the reality is that G2 is just dominating this map. It looks like the polar opposite to Nuke, which was quite the back and forth affair.
You have to wonder, and you have to wonder why Gambit are constantly trying B and B and B and B and throwing this smoke down ramp or getting smoked out of ramp and still pushing through it, not canceling, not adjusting on the fly, but really just hitting their head on a wall here. And it's not getting any easier, and it didn't seem like even when they got the bomb down, they had a great opportunity to win, but they just blew a post plant they should have. They've gotten the bomb down, it's been like 3v1 or 4v2, not in their favor. So hopefully they do try something else. And I always remember something that Automatic said I think it was at the summit, and said, so you can have free Ivy presence if you just spend a couple of rounds, a half, sending somebody there, throwing a grenade. Just to keep the CTs honest, you could hold rotates for longer. People will always be worried about a flank. That means you can delay longer when the bomb is down. Wow.
That is
super
lightning
quick.
fast. As Gambit is going to be on a bit of a force here. They do have that AWP in the hands of Mo, and Dozy does have the AK, but everyone else is just going to be upgraded pistols. And again, they're slowing it down into just kind of a spread, maybe lining up some smokes. Definitely see some people here in the spawn area lining everything up, but look at Shox. It's pushing through Ivy, at least going to get the information that no one's looking to attack that spot.
Oh, Mo finds a frag. Kenny S actually gets taken out of the round somehow. Dren also has picked up the op, but Apex comes flying through a smoke with his M4 and a plan, and there it is, MBK out in the open, gets 2 quick headshots.
So now it comes down to a 2v3, but look at this move from Shox. He's just sitting underneath this guy, working his way in so slowly. Oh, the patience pays off. He can line up. Oh my goodness, he can even line up maybe a 2-for-1 if they do it just right.
Oh my God.
This do it, please. Okay, thank you. I can't take it anymore.
I couldn't take it either. I could not take that.
The patience, though.
Oh my
Look
gosh.
at him, that cheeky smile. That's what that deserves, too.
I think there was a highlight. I mean, it's just, look at this constant readjusting to slight pixel movement as he's like.
You were wondering if they were going to. That was like that brief moment they kind of both lined up.
Yeah. And then there you go. All right.
Oh, man. It's cool how he waited until Mo was like super focused and scoped in on ladder till there was basically no way to react to his first kill. So, again, just this great stuff there from Shox. Some beautiful antics.
And all for good reason, too. Nice pick. Nice pick from Shox there. Had failed on that flick earlier from Zeus, but I think now they've learned they need to flash that off before they peek it. Careful shooting from Apex won't result in almost any damage, actually. And suddenly, Gambit are showing their clout, have a lot of stake in this round, have a bomb plant, and have delayed quite a bit. Doja also being quite annoying on the other side of the map, and there it is, they steal one up. And have started to get something going.
Unfortunately, they only have one more round to try to get more out of this. And, I mean, definitely a big lead here from G2. But we'll see what Gambit has up their sleeve. They get one more crack at this one. They'd love to have it, because obviously you don't want to let G2 get to 11. You know, then you lose pistol, and you're running out of space. You know, so obviously trying to get every round that they can get.
Absolutely. Space is going to be a huge factor. Look at that, almost 10 rounds in a row won by G2. Shox getting real aggressive up that ramp. Hobbit is getting mollied down. He's down to 5 HP. Wow, I don't think he was aware that he was standing right in that. And Adrian finally relaxes enough with his recoil control to hit that one tap. Mo opts a player falling back. That's Body, one of the Deddy inner players, but Shox is definitely still alive.
Yeah, he's up close here on that lower ramp, throwing the utility, trying to stop Gambit from pouring into this inner bomb side. He knows he's a man down. He's got to make a play. Is he really going to creep in through this? Yes, but he does a bit too much. Mo able to spot his body on the other side of that smoke, and so that means that Gambit are looking good to find this 5th round. A minute left on the clock. Bomb here in the hands of Dozia as Hobbit peeking off the top, looking to clear this inner bomb site. Kenny S, though, here with the AWP.
2-on-4 situation. It's technically a retake, though the bomb has not been planted quite yet. Gonna look for any free kills that they can find. And wow, like ships in the night, Hobbit actually just walks right by Kenny S. And as soon as Kenny S takes a shot, I mean, he's obviously gonna be alerted and come right back. This doesn't work in his favor at all because Kenny has no idea. But what's interesting here is it's not quite a save just yet. And there it is, Hobbit from behind finally. get something going. Kenny is the one, though, alerted to this fact. Oh, this is one of his favorite things to do, but he kind of messed up and didn't tap it fast enough. Oh my God, through the corner of the train. Jeez, would Hobbit have been close enough to even stop that defuse? Yeah, it looks like he might have been. But consolation prize, 5 rounds.
Sure. I mean, they get a couple right there in the end, so at the very least, they keep themselves competitive. They don't let it spiral too much out of control. Double-digit CT side is certainly something Gambit can, in their own right, be capable of when you have Mo's op, as long as it's on point. Obviously, a Dren, a fantastic rifler. Hobbit is definitely one of those guys who's going to be really good at playing over towards Ivy. You have Dozia playing inner. So there's definitely some good side anchors here for Gambit to maybe convert some rounds. The thing about G2 is, though, is they can just be so explosive. They have so much firepower. And right now, you have guys on that team on point. Shox is hitting his shots. Kenny S is hitting his shots. Apex is there. When you have all these aggressive, prone oppers or riflers or what have you that like to play fast-paced CS, if you can't handle that, I mean, they can just mow you over. So that's going to be the big test for Gambit.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. G2 will play fast. They'll play hard. They'll press their advantage. They're probably one of the harder teams to come back against. And Gambit have a big test on their hand if they want to earn the opportunity to play on a map that they have really established themselves on. That might give them a good chance to win the series. But we'll see. If Train was more of a fluke than anything else, did see a lot of good about it. But in this half, or in this previous half, saw kind of a bunch of mistakes that I wasn't anticipating to see from Gambit.
You see definitely a set piece in mind here for G2 in this pistol, by the way. You see lots of utility being lined up here right outside of the bomb train. It's that typical smoke wall. Pop flash comes over as well for them to run in with, but Adren is the first to find something in this round. Takes out Shox, a key player, but the bomb does in fact get planted. They'll try to hold in a 4v5 post plan as MBK just backing off, but he gets caught through it all. Body is the one man finding a kill for G2 thus far as Hobbit sneaks into Olaf and looking to contest the connector, but Body holds him off. Body doing a lot of great things here, but the defuse is being stuck in the midst of all this. So much chaos happening that the defuse will get snuck in there.
Oh my God.
And so the round does go to Gambit.
Wow, they actually get it. Yeah, now they're within 4. That's a saving grace for Gambit. That is a huge win for them. Very lucky, obviously, to not get shot in the back from our man at ladder. It was interesting because they actually planted on top of the train so as not to have someone wrap around it and spam them. But I don't know. Ironically enough, the fact that they planted up there, but he defused from lower, so maybe the spam was aimed in the wrong place.
Yeah, so G2 will buy up what they can off the back of that bomb plant. Not looking to save for third round or anything like that. Looking to try to meet them head on here and now with that Galil, a couple of Tech 9s, a Deagle, and a P250. Also have a few nades thrown in there, a couple flashes and stuff to work with.
Yeah, I think this is a hold push into actually execute or do some kind of light execute. This one might be one for the books. Teams should always be looking to have some eco strats or force up strats. So where these smokes are thrown might be useful to remember.
Yeah, I think MBK was doing an interview with Thorin, actually, and he mentioned the fact that Astralis really kind of showed people how to play rounds like this on limited buys, particularly on T sides, and that they had kind of learned a lot from watching that.
Okay, cool.
Just a little nugget.
Yeah. Smokes are coming out outside. Has there been presence so far? Yeah, there are a bunch of smokes that have been laid out. Adren with this boost though, and T-Con's in a really good spot to deal with pistols. From this such long angle, they have to hit a headshot, and they can't do it.
And Adren having an easy time boosted up there with the M4, just taking people down at distance, and only Shox remains, and plenty of CTs just swarming him here at T-Connector. He's trying to line something up, but he gets peeked from high and low at the same time, and not much he's going to be able to do there. So it's going to be 10-7. G2 still out in front, but Gambit creeping back into it.
It's a lot to put on one player, but I actually think that just all comes down to this boost, because they would come out assuming that they don't have to watch Z or that they'll be able to cross and peek the side of bomb train. But because he's up here, because they had the foresight to put him up, he was in such a good spot to deal with specifically the guns that they had coming out of T-Com, which were, you know, shorter range pistols. G2 now with, once again, they don't like to buy any utility on a follow-up round if they end up blowing it on the force up. Have, however, invested in some better pistols apart from Body, who spent on the Galil last round.
Yeah, he just got that Glock in his hand, but there is some PT-50s and one Deagle in play, but Dozier pushing inner, able to find MBK pretty quickly. And we'll see if Gambit don't just quickly wrap this one up, as Apex is also bleeding out here, so this shouldn't be too difficult for Gambit to clear out at this point. Nice timing there from Shox to get through, but Hobbit more than waiting for it.
I think he actually got tagged by his team too, which those milliseconds can matter. Those are getting way too aggressive. Out on the flank, you wouldn't expect Apex to be back there, however. Dink comes out, looking for this trade. Can he get it? Hobbit's gonna re-peek. Is he with this USP? He wants this fight. He's gonna get, oh, he was so close to getting knifed. He was so, so close to getting knifed.
Nice little play there from Apex, knowing that he's
Oh, man!
What?
Yeet! That was dirty, dude.
It was dirty. Also just smart to throw that gun away. He knows he's not going to be able to save it. Might as well deny Gambit the ability to do so. And how fast does double op come out from G2 on T side is going to be my question. They love to do it. This time, 0 of them. They want to go for full AK, full utility, full head armor, all that jazz.
Wow.
But you definitely could see it later. Again, one of the few teams that will do that. But again, they can be really explosive with all these riflers and just get in your face fast. So that's something else we got to keep our eye out on. It means that Gambit needs to use that utility to try to stuff T-Connector as much as they can. And that's exactly what's happened. Good incendiaries forcing Shox back.
Intense rumble of the Molotovs. Is to really put you in the shoes of Shox. Zeus gets aggressive over T-Con. Very good. I mean, just don't want to bite off more than you can chew here. And falls back to safely without taking any damage, though. Man goes top train to try to take him out. Zeus has to fall off in response. Shox kills his support. And is now in what looks like a shooting gallery. He's really good in these situations. Will he find enough one tap? No, he doesn't. He gets naded out. And as someone jumps through a Z-smoke.
So Gambit's now just one round away from tying this thing up. So this is some great work for the guys over at Gambit. As money's once again low for G2.
MBK said, not bad, Doja. As he jumped through a Z-smoke with an MP9 and instantly dinked him.
Glad that they can always have a little bit of fun despite the fact they're in definitely a high-pressure situation. So we'll see what G2 can do with these Tech-9s. They're one of the most dangerous teams with these.
So easy to forget that we're all playing video games with our friends. Shox with another entry, as he can be relied on for those more often than not. Hobbit was actually super good at Ivy. Really good at using his utility sparsely, throwing a flash only when he needs to, baiting out Molotovs in response, getting a lot of bang for his buck. Here's one Molotov. He also travels from the top of train to... Oh.
Uh-oh.
That's
not what he was looking for.
Missed grenade. Will he get punished for it? Nope.
That timing was almost really dangerous. And he's running into his own fire and taking damage. If he goes down now, that would definitely be kind of painful, as he is taking a lot of heat, but somehow he's surviving it all. Eventually, Shox takes him out, but that's definitely a little bit tough, isn't it? As now, all of a sudden, it's just like the gates have been opened, and G2 are just swarming now. Only a Dren left. He does get Kenny S down, but now he has to play against 3 more Ts, and it's not going to amount to much, as Apex will finish it off. It's now 11-9 G2.
And they have broken the spell 6 rounds in a row. Gambit have won, including the 2 from the last half, which has resulted in them being just 1 away from tying up, but now it's 2, and Gambit's money economy has finally been tested. They're down to their bottom dollar on most players. Hobbit has 2,800 in the bank, but this double op setup is going to be quite expensive. I like this adjustment now that they've actually lost a round to try to really change it up. I mean, I think even the Mag 7 could be put to good use here. There it is. The first kill comes out. Ladder control hasn't been retained necessarily, but oh my gosh, does he? Wow, he is.
The mind games are so real there. Well played, as Poe's going to find the headshot with the AWP as well. So crafty stuff here from Gambit, but Apex is looking to try to bring it back. Denied that, though, as he only gets 1 kill, but Kenny S is still alive on the map in a 1v3. He finds 1. He still has a lot of time to work with. He in his own right can be quite clutch in situations like this. You never can count him out to hit some type of impossible shot and somehow still come up with the round.
Kenny S is an absolutely incredibly clutch player. I mean, not only does he hit shots and hit them in high-pressure situations, wide, crazy flicks, is very keen on understanding where his opponents may be. Always has great awareness has got a bit of info right here. I think feels like he can plant because of this, and it's completely... Oh, not totally correct about that. And spammed from the back and taken out of the round. Almost got dangerous there. Yeah. Actually had a spot in the middle of the train where he could have planted, but unfortunately. And look at this BDP from Zeus. Dropping the smoke and then re-aggressing with like red health. Who would do that? Who would do such a thing?
That was definitely kind of the coolest part of that round. That's really what kind of tilted the balance in favor of Gambit, so props to him on making a nice play. And Gambit looking to tie this game up for the first time since round 2. G2's had the lead since round 3. So they're really trying to, here right before the map comes to its closing rounds, to try to get back into this one, try to see if they can survive and force a third map.
Yeah, also shutting back-to-back rounds out of the question. G2 have though, invested with this op. And some players have some money left over, haven't invested all of their funds. Funnily enough. Can be good enough to just have this one gun. And it is really cool to see Hobbit playing Ivy so well. Just in such a consistent manner. No, it doesn't have the op. Yeah, he's been playing it without an op as well. We've got 3 players up here. It's clear that G2 have some business to do.
It's neat to see Shox with it instead of Kenny, yes, but what do you know? He's going to find the kill. Obviously very capable in his own right of doing so.
Wait, Shox just saw him pick up that op. I mean, I'm sure he knows Mo was crouch peeking with one. So they've learned that somebody is CT, holding a big green gun.
This is just kind of, you know, more credit to Shox as the type of guy who will just take control of a game if things are going a little bit rough. He will just say, okay, I'm not lurking anymore. I'm not setting up people anymore. I'm going to be the playmaker. I'm going to run out here and do things. But he's going to go down to Hobbit, who picks up that op. Body does have that M4, tries to put it to use, but it's quickly silenced now. It's going to be all on Kenny S and Apex. They both have guns in their hands now, thanks to some nice kills, but as the time ticks away, Apex wants to save this AWP, and Gambit will finally tie this game back up. It was G2 well out in front for such a long time. They built that up over the course of the first half, but it's withered away, and Gambit are right back into this game, making it once again such a tight race of a map.
Oh my god, almost died after time. I don't even know how that kill wasn't completed. Oh, jeez, that would have been a huge victory for Gambit to knock out not only the op, but stop Apex from getting any round loss bonus. And it's G2 to call a pause, moving into a save. Body has enough money to buy. Apex has retained the op, obviously. MBK actually has enough money to buy as well. This is an interesting opportunity. I don't think that, I'm not sure that they'll buy behind this in spite of this. Maybe they will half buy and continue to save, work towards just one more round loss. I think they would put themselves in a really tough economic situation, but they have so much money. It's probably on the menu. Like, I mean, it's probably on the table. They're probably considering it.
Again, they're one of the few teams that will do it. It's funny enough, Gambit's one of the other teams that actually occasionally did it with Adren and Mo. We never did see it, though, in the first half in regulation. But you never know if we wind up in an overtime situation. Certainly possible. Don't want to get too high of ourselves, though, as G2 definitely are going to be trying to think about what's their best option here. They do have one op saved on Apex. That obviously saves them some money. If they wanted to get another one, that would be glass cannon, so it's very unlikely that happens. I'm sure they'll just try to buy up some rifles around it.
And is Hobbit going to hang on to an MP9? I mean, it's not the worst gun in the game, but if G2 do end up buying, will it be sufficient? I think Gambit are of the understanding that G2, no way that G2 can buy. There's absolutely no way. They'd be incorrect about that, however. They are really using this pause to its maximum benefit, which I appreciate.
You might as well, if you have it, use it. As the thing is MBK and Body have enough money for basically a full buy, but you look over at Shox and Kenny S, and that's not the case. So you almost wonder if they really want to invest too heavily around that. Maybe they just want to get some upgraded pistols around it. Maybe make sure they save money for the next round.
Yeah,
it's probably the most likely option.
I think it's just the best for their economy, just to upgrade a bit. I think Apex has bought half armor, Body has bought half armor, MBK's bought a Mag 7. Yes, so just intending to save with a fairly good opportunity to get some kills and do some economic damage, keep Gambit one away from having to save.
NBK has a sawed-off shotgun now. He's trying to challenge Zeus for most sawed-off kills. Actually passes it over to Body instead. Maybe it's a bit of a misbuy. Either way, it is Gambit getting aggressive inside the brown halls and taking a couple of kills as a reward for their efforts. Hobbit will just add right on to it. And this round's already over. Yeah, pretty much.
That was pretty quick. That was pretty quick.
Not much to see here, that's for sure.
Oh, let's see the Kenny show. He's 1v5 with a whole minute 20 to save. Let's see if he can hit some insane shots. No. No, he will not. And they spent a lot of time talking about that round, but I think it was mostly about how much money they want to spend. Probably doing a little bit of math, too, as they actually have enough money here to put together a rifle buy. NBK going to take the L and buy a smoke, a nade, flash, and support the team.
Yeah, it takes a little bit less of a rifle at that Galil to be able to afford all that utility, so they want to maybe put something to use. Looks like they're going to go for a triple Ivy play. Definitely something that a lot of teams will use at times just to try to see if they can't sweep through, basically attack outer from 3 different angles with most of that presence coming from this side of the map. But there is a CT playing up close. It's going to be Hobbit. It's a bit of a bait as well because they hear Mo's op bringing out through the smoke. So the chances of them guessing that Mo's also, excuse me, that a rifle's also here is low. But Hobbit does take a bit of damage and actually decides to get out of there.
I truly appreciate how much attention is being given to Ivy by both Gambit and G2. It's a critical part of the map, and I think you can't really spend too little attention to it. So the thing is, though, that even Hobbit by himself has done such a good job in holding it, either getting a kill and being very annoying. So it's given a lot of freedom to his teammates to play the spots that they would like.
Right, as we do see finally G2 making the decision to go ahead and start pressing in. Zusto is the first to draw blood, and now Mo adds to it. Only 3 members remaining for G2 in this round to try to make a play. Apex getting fought out by Ivy, but he actually responds to Hobbit. Well done, but Mo, swift with the AWP in his own right, gets a frag, but NBK connects with 2 with the Galil. But now he has to finish off the job alone with such low HP. It's a 1v2, spots 1 and Z, but not going to be able to handle it. Good play from Dozdia, great play from Gambit in general. They're on quite the winning streak now as they've surpassed G2. They have a decent lead. Money's low on G2. Everything's really stacking up for them now.
There hasn't been a lot of attention given to Inner, and I feel like Gambit are just really earning their right to say you can't come Ivy because they've just been shutting them down so well. I mean, Hobbit has obviously been relaying the information. Even in that situation where he didn't actually fire any bullets, had Mo on full alert that he had to watch his back here. And because they didn't have a proper split going outside, there was no one to, well, MBK came out, but maybe a little bit late because he wasn't able to come out instantly trade or stop his teammates from dying. Nice pick from Shox as he's leading with the AK, and he's looking for more damage if he can find it. No one's peeked Z on him right yet, but there it is, right under the bullet goes his head.
So yeah, in a round where G2 didn't really have anything to work with, they're quickly falling. This was to be expected, of course. Just MBK left here in the 1v4. Bomb way on the other side of the map, so
look at this.
Not much you can do but try to get damage done.
Just think, you know, NBK's out here thinking, I just got out Inner for free. That means that's a round that Shox could have entered outside. They all could have ran Inner, could have likely got a plant. Maybe they had to show a couple extra people to fully pull the rotate, but it was pretty quick that NBK was able to run down into lower ramp and flank.
Yeah, Hobbit is going to sniff it out eventually there. So it's going to be 14-11 for Gambit, and they're working themselves closer and closer to forcing that 3rd map on Cobblestone as, again, Immortals already waiting in the grand finals to be played later on, right after this best-of-3. We had a game go just the distance and then some for G2 to win that game on Nuke.
Yeah.
And here we are, double op setup coming in for Mo and Adren. Single op now on Kenny S.
You know, one thing is, I think that if they want to approach Ivy control one more time, I think maybe they should go and try to attack the left as opposed to the right. Oh, Hobbit finding a new way to defend here. Not a super uncommon boost, but at least a new way to play it in this map, which is good. And MBK gets spotted. Headshot from Adren from downtown. Easy frags for both the hoppers.
It was like MBK was trying to sneak out again like he did in the previous round, trying to see if he could detect an opening, but Adren's op was there this time. That was the big difference, is the shift to the double op from Gambit, thanks to the extra funds they've been building up and all these round wins that's available to them. And again, G2 playing from behind so fast into the round.
Kazakhstan Knights. From such a strong lead in the first half, G2 now have to win 3 just to tie up at 14. What an awful position to be in. Kenny for the showcase. Obviously hits one. Hobbit, once again, doing his job.
What can G2 do here in a 2 versus 4 with Kenny S on low HP? And now the bomb's out. Its body taken down, and so now it's just Kenny S 1v4 as Gambit approaching map point now. This is right on the horizon, and there it is, 15-11 for Gambit. It's looking like they will force this 3rd map unless G2 can run it back, and, well, we get some more overtimes out of the semifinals. That would be nice.
Absolutely. I mean, to think this could have been just a simple 2-0 if Gambit had pulled together the first map. That's crazy to consider. The buy-up is here. It's tattered. It's got a Galil. It's got a Tech 9. It's got low nades.
It's got no ops on a team that sometimes likes to use 2, so it's definitely going to be slim options here for G2, but they'll do the best. Again, they can be quite dangerous in low-buy situations. They've proved that before. But Gambit's played so well on Train to get back into this, to come back from 10-5.
Extremely fast execute outside. A couple of entries come out. 3v5 instantly. 2. Where are all of the CTs going? Melting in front of our screens. One left in the corner of a smoke. That's Zeus. He's pushing up. Looking for a good opportunity. MBK is too quick on the trigger, though. Finds his head first. Doja now left as the rotator coming out of Z. Knows that one is E-Box. Throws the Molotov to flush him out. Is correct about the side. Moves on to a second target. Doesn't exactly know where they both are, but there's a quick body shot, but Body himself comes around the side of the train to make sure that kill wasn't taken in vain.
Clutch situation was looking a little bit appetizing there for a moment until Body just came in real quick from Ivy and shut that thing down. So G2 sticking around at least for a little bit longer there thanks to that round win. It's going to be 12-15. Gambit will have 3 chances to put this one away in regulation and get us onto Cobblestone. G2, though, looking to see if they can't still fight for this map. They're not done yet. Did you see them perhaps lining up for something very similar? You see them lining up the same outside wall smokes, but Zeus again gets aggressive in ladder. He's done this a couple of times, even once with the Mag 7, and it has led to victories for his team, and there you have it. Mo helping it along with that pick onto MBK. It's not looking good for G2 right now, but Apex trying to fight back, but it just may not be enough.
This might be it. The couple of spray down from Apex. It's actually a one-on-one situation. There are 3 players that died before him, but now it is Gambit to earn themselves a map 3 versus G2, a hard-fought battle after winning. Oh my gosh, look at that. We got 4, 8, 9 out of the last 11 rounds.
Again, I mean, there was a situation there where for a while Gambit hadn't seen a tie or a lead since like round 3 of the game. It was just all G2 in that first half on their CT side, but they responded very well with their own CT side. You know, they were able to get aggressive in inner, something that G2 was punishing them with. They were able to use Zeus aggressive in ladder. Their ops were going off. I mean, they just played really good CS to deny G2 access to anything on their terrace side and to make the comeback. I mean, again, they were down 5-10. They wound up winning the game and really not allowing much out of G2 for the rest of that game despite having a massive lead.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw flaws on both their T sides where Gambit were probably paying too much attention to the inner site, whereas G2 were maybe not paying enough attention to it. But then highlights of their CT sides where Hobbit was locking down Ivy all by himself and finding unique ways to play it and be very annoying for the entire game. So really impressive performance on the CT sides at least, and a little bit more so from Gambit.
Absolutely. So we'll go to a map 3. It's going to be on Cobblestone. After a short break, we'll conclude this semifinal, see who will join Immortals in the grand final, so stay tuned.